2, 1. And we're live.
Coolio. You ready with the time as well?
Yeah, I will. Just give me a countdown when you're ready.
Alright, I'll count to 0 from 3. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, go. So this is A Link to the Past. It's a pretty cool game, and it's also very difficult to speedrun. At least when you're going fast. So basically in the start here it's not going to be much going on, more than something we call air pumping and wall pumping, which is a way to save frames. You basically run north or west and you tap the direction towards the wall. And also when air pumping you do basically the same thing, except you don't have a wall there like I'm doing here. It doesn't save that much time, but it's a neat thing to do. So yeah, I don't know. It's not really much going on in the first few minutes. You're basically going to rescue Zelda without trying to get hit by these guys. In the upcoming hall room, there can be some bad RNGs, which, yeah, that's pretty good actually. The best you can get is just mashing the wall there and saving the frames. This guy is basically, you nudge against the wall and then you poke him with the sword to basically do damage with the poke, and then you spin so it instantly kill him. There's another one of those coming up in like half a minute, 20 seconds. By going up here, you don't trigger those guys to walk against you. There is the same one. This one is a bit harder since I don't know if it's luck or not, but sometimes you just don't get the kill. I think it has to do with how far into the wall you are. The little boss that's coming up now is pretty annoying, since he's doing this ball chain spin thing. And yeah, what just happened when you dinked it. Oh. You're hoping for him to not do that, basically. It takes basically 8 slashes to kill, or you can use a pot and throw at him. Killing him with 8 slashes is about 20 frames faster if you do it flawlessly, which I did not do. Also, something I forgot to mention is when you leave a staircase, like that one, the game basically stutters, like Link's animation stutters for a bit if you just hold diagonally out, which is, I don't know actually when it happens, but you can avoid it by holding right or left when leaving it. It saves a bit of time over the run to do that in every staircase. Like I'm gonna do now, just hold left. It just skips that stutter. Something that's also important to do is trying to line yourself up in the doorways, since otherwise Link basically nudges against the wall, and that will lose a few frames. You can also do the pumping procedure thing in the stairs, like those under me right now. and that basically cuts off the animation as well. Alright, that was pretty bad RNG, fortunately. Here's a snake room. It's pretty annoying sometimes. That was some good RNG though, so I'm happy about that. This is the sewers, so in the water here you usually move slow, but if you do the air pumping, you can save some time. It saves a bit of time to do that. This room has a key in the rat, this one. And unfortunately I got like the worst RNG you can get. You're hoping frame to run against you at the door in the beginning. Okay, that was pretty good. That as well. Here if you hold right, just don't do anything else, you skip the text box there. So, pretty neat trick. And now it's basically just mash the text. I'm not sure what it says, but it's probably important. And in the chest over there, there is a heart container that I will be getting. Some runners skip that to save like 3 seconds, but I don't think it's worth the risk, since at some places in the game, and you have 1 heart left with this one, you'll be dead otherwise. Also looking at chat, why it's so hard to speedrun, it's basically because, I guess it's not hard to speedrun like that, but when you want to get a really good time, it's pretty difficult since there's so many minor things that you lose time on. Like movement is a very important factor in this game. You want to make sure you're moving like as good as possible to save them more time. That's a damage boost, but unfortunately it didn't do anything good. Here, that stair pumping saves a lot of time, since there's pretty long stairs. And you basically just wiggle the D-pad back and forth to like left and right, while moving upwards. Doing it downwards is actually slower, so you wouldn't want to do that. Kind of weirds out your thumbs quickly when you do that though, but it's very important. These cannonballs, yeah, it's the worst RNG, almost. Like when it goes left, right, left, right. You want them all to be on the right side, so you can just go to the left. Okay, in the room that's coming up after this one, there's like a trick so you can kill skeletons before they even spawn by moving in a specific pattern. It's pretty neat. If you move, like, if you don't move the correct way, you will spawn one of them, or at least 1 and maybe 2, which is a bit slower. Also another damage boost trick that you abuse the invincibility frames that this game has when you get hit. You can push a switch without actually doing the main objective. You're supposed to kill all the enemies in the room to make the anti-fairies go away in the one that's coming up after this one, this long hallway. By basically damage boosting onto this popo and then picking up the pot. And basically standing on the switch to get you boosted upwards. There's 2 air pots here that I'll be getting. And bow. In the next room, there is a trick you can do that it's really difficult, but it saves you an arrow. I don't think it's faster, but if you want an extra arrow, then there you go. But it's pretty difficult, and I don't even know how to explain it. Here you can hit the switch without actually seeing it, but that's because the hitbox will work like that. Uh-oh. This room is pretty difficult to get good, since you rely on luck as well as execution. And you need 18 arrows for this fight, optimally. This is basically just do it like that. Yeah, it's pretty hard in the beginning, but once you get used to it and learn it, it's not that hard to do. There's like 5 different ways to do that fight, with this one being the fastest, the easiest one. And there's also like 2 others that are really difficult. Now we're going to Sahasrara, or the cowboy. He will give you the boots that you will need to save the frames. In the old route, you would go behind this in this basement or the chamber over there with the cracked wall. But in the new route, you get the rupees another way, since it's a bit faster. What I just did is called spin speed. It's basically you hold out your sword with a spin charge, and then you release it, and you have to press A 1 frame after you release it. It only works on those staircases, and it basically activates a glitch state, in which Link has a funny walking animation, and also you can't use your sword. It only works in the Japanese 1.0 version. I'll be doing it multiple times throughout the round. This one sometimes you can skip, since if you mess it up more than once or twice, you lose time. But luckily I got it the first try. Leaving in the library like this, though, it's pretty easy. Yeah, that's what I was afraid it's gonna happen. If you hit the grass from a specific angle, you basically just bounce off it. Which is a bit annoying, but if you try to go quickly at that screen, that can happen. Here you want to avoid the water, since it slows you down. Here it's basically dashing and dashing and dashing, not really much interesting going on. Uh-oh, there you go. You want to use the book as far to your left as possible. Playing the 1.0 version over 1.2, for example, or 1.1, it doesn't save that much time except some glitches, which is like 25 seconds maybe. But if you play the Japanese or English, it's gonna be a lot faster. About a minute at least. Since in Japanese there's less text to be printed out. Also, mashing the book like this saves frames. It doesn't actually, but it's still fun to say it does. Here you can get some bad RNG. Luckily I did not. When the cannonballs basically outspeed you and you have to stop dashing. The best that can happen is basically dash through it all. I'm collecting arrows just to make sure I have enough for Lamolas. I will have 29, which is good. Here you usually use dash down instead of walking, since you want to save the extra frames. If you're quick, you can just dash over those sand pits, quick sand pits, saves time. Actually, I don't know how to do this. Basically, you can do another spin speed there, but I got a brain fart, and I didn't want to risk it. Since that one is a bit risky, and if you mess it up, you basically jump down, and then you will lose time. Quite a lot, actually, since you have to go back into the dungeon. So I just didn't do it. It felt safer that way. It doesn't even say that much time, but it's still a minor thing that you can save time on. There's also an arrow pot here you could get, but I'm skipping it since I have enough. And I put myself in a bad situation now with the red Igor. He's probably going to go into the right if I squeeze. Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to do. Alright, 2.5 hearts for Lamolas. Should be fine. You basically bonk there to line yourself up perfectly. This boss fight is really difficult since there's so much things going on. They take 4 arrows to kill, or 8 slashes. It's basically just RNG. And you're hoping for good luck, basically. Sometimes they can do short hops, which is it loses you time, basically. Charging your spin and then releasing it while grabbing the pendant saves time. I think it does. At least it looks cool. So I'll explain this now. I'll be doing a thing called fake flippers, which is a way to skip like 10 seconds or something with different route. You basically swim without having the flippers yet, since you have to buy them. But you can swim anyways if you do this trick, which is basically you jump down the water as close as possible to the edge. I think that's, yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna happen. Does that respawn? No. Alright. It's basically a way to line this up, and you want... There we go. And then you just mash the buttons, the B button, when you land through water, as close as possible to the transition, in which the game just gets tricked into thinking you have the flipper, since it doesn't check it instantly. And when you get to another screen, the game just lets you swim. If you get hit while swimming in the other screen, you basically softlock the game. You have a chance to just save and quit, but in no save and quit, which is no major glitches, you wouldn't do that. But I guess for safety's sakes you could, and then save and quit and go back there and do it again. Otherwise it just softlocks the game, you can't do anything, just reset. This is Death Mountain. It's really annoying. There's a lot of dead rocks, or as we call them, squirrels, that run around and do things, and while we have to avoid the boulders. So there's a lot of things going on here that it will lose you time. It's not a matter of like if it can, it usually will. That was pretty good though still. Didn't get hit, but I had to stop for a while. Here's a thing called quick warping. If you enter like a warp like this in a specific way, you cut off the animation by about 33 frames. Maybe it's 34, I can't remember exactly. I used to do it again. I'm not sure how it works, but it just does. There's like a chart if you want to look it up on speedrun.com, I think, on what the ones that work or not. I've been doing it basically as often as I can. It saves like 12 seconds over the run. This is a boring tie room, which is not really much to do. You could do a thing called boom dashing, which is basically item dash, when you press the dash button and the item button at the same time. It only works on this version as well. You can do some pretty neat tricks with it, but the most important one is hammer dashing, which makes you hammer multiple pegs at once. I won't be doing that until Dark World though. Now I'm just doing like the easiest strats, just to make sure I don't mess anything up. I think I would be fine if I dash there, but... Uh-oh. Another thing you can lose time on is item management, which I just basically demonstrated. If I made it better, I would save time. Those beetles can walk through those crystal switches, but you cannot. And you have to try to hit them into the holes to save time. What's coming up now is called a bomb jump. It's basically you put out a bomb and you do that. Not really, but you're supposed to you want to be as close as to the edge as possible, and then if you're a few pixels off, then you can just stand still and let the bomb boost you over. But if you do what I did and fall down, you lose a lot of time. Optimally though, you would just stand there and do you stand there and get hit over, but usually you use dash into the wall and you bonk. It basically multiplies the amount of pixels you boost. Like that. I'm not sure how many times it multiplies, but it's quite a bit. I'm getting some pretty bad RNG there. I was doing the bomb jumps multiple times, but that one is by far the easiest. But also if you mess it up like that, you lose a lot of time. This is just Moldorm, he's really annoying, since he will bounce you around. You can avoid it by holding your sword out like this. You want to fall down, but it's still pretty annoying. You can also dash through him sometimes, which is what you want to do optimally to save time. That wasn't too bad of a fight. Fortunately I fell down at the bomb jump, but that's what it is, I guess. I'm a bit rusty, not gonna lie. Alright, now is the route change. What I usually would have gotten rupees behind Sashrala, but now you just get the rupees from the tree here. You basically pull the tree, and then there will spawn rupees. You pull the first one, and then you kill 4 enemies. and then after you kill the 4 enemies, you will pull another 3, and you will get 4 red rupees. Which is a neat thing that ACMLM found with the route. Here's the first enemy I kill. I'll be entering in the forest here and get a few more kills. That's 3 kills. And if you get hit, then it resets and you have to do it again, which is what you want to avoid getting hit. Now, just getting the Master Sword, just so you can enter Aghanim's Tower, which is the last dungeon in the light world. There's not much going on right now, it's just basic item tech smashing and some movement. I will be killing the bird that is... it's right on the screen. You can see it now though. The bird over there. Now I killed 4 enemies. And then I'll be pulling the tree under here. And that spawns 4 red rupees. Now I have 105, which is 5 off what you need. But you will get 6 more in the tower. You can dash against this fence if you're not too far to the right here. Not sure why it works, but it does. You can also do that later in the game, but that one is a bit more specific. Now it's basically one more room, or one section. You slash it with the Master Sword, and then you in. Here's a pretty hard trick. Well, it's a strategy basically. I messed that up a bit, but what I just did with the 2 running guys is if you kill them with a dash, then they don't drop anything, which is good, since you want them to drop nothing. Since this game works like with item drop order, and if they would drop a heart or a fairy, well, it basically has to drop the heart before the fairy, but if they drop both, then it'll be bad. If they drop the heart, that'll be also bad, since there's also another enemies you want that will actually drop those. And you want the fairy in Turok, which is the second to last dungeon. Okay, what I just did is a small window where you can kill that blue guard with 1 slash. You have to slash diagonally in a pretty specific way. Oh. It's pretty hard to pull off. It has to do with the hitbox. Now we're entering the chamber. Where the maiden is. So this guy is not a nice guy. He could be a run killer, since there's really nothing you can do about it, since he will use 3 different attacks. The first one is this yellow ball. He will always do that on the first attack of each cycle. Now it's basically a 50-50 chance of a blue ball that used to happen and a yellow ball. You want the yellow balls since the blue balls just waste your time. And there's nothing you can do about it at all. Now he's dodging a lightning. And now it's a guaranteed yellow ball again. And then it's just luck again. The best you can get is 0. But the average is about 3. Which is 1 extra lightning cycle, which wastes time. Alright, I got 3 so far. Yeah, I'll be fine, I have 3. I thought it was another attack. I got the average, which is good enough. Yeah, he's not a nice guy at all. Now it's just tech smashing. I'm going to do another spin speed when I get to the bottom of the pyramid to boost myself. But I'm just gonna dash it down. I didn't have to refill any hearts or magic there, so it saves time. That little cutscene thing. And now it's a dark world, which is basically the fun part of the game, since here it's where most of the things happen that are difficult. There's less luck here and more skill. Also, you want to dash as far as possible and not walk and then dash. Basically, maximize your dashes. Since you walk faster, well, you basically go faster when you dash, so. Here you can boost the monkey by turning around and then walk back. Since if you dash, he will be far behind you. This is Palace of Darkness. It's a pretty cool dungeon. It has some few hard things to pull off, like another bomb jump, which is very specific with how it works. I'll explain that further on. For now, it's just basic walking around and do things. And get hit, apparently. Which is not good. That also only happens in the 1.0 version. You can get hit while falling down. Doesn't really make any sense, but it just does work on this one. You want to bomb the floor to get down. So yeah, the hammer jump, that is called, is coming up soon, and it's basically double pixel perfect while the floor is falling down behind you. The Y pixel, I think it is, or X, I can't remember. So it's specific. I'm just gonna get it here first. I didn't get it, fortunately. I'm going to do it the safe way now. You have to be lined up perfectly. There we go. You basically boost through the railing. What makes it difficult is that you have a specific time limit to do it, since the floor falls down. Fortunately, my TV cuts off the bottom part, which I use for visual cue. Otherwise, it'll be easier to see. It's probably the most difficult jump in the game, since it requires pixel perfect, as well as a time limit. If you practice it, you will get good at it, but it's still something you can mess up. Now it's just downtime for about some seconds. I don't know how long it is, but it's probably like 10-15 when this wall is moving. There's a room coming up now with some turtles in it. It's you have to flip them over and then kill them. That was very good, but sometimes one of them can flip over upwards and he will mess you up. I don't know if it's RNG or if it's just input, but it feels like it's actually luck. This is Halmosaur. You can kill him in many different ways, but the fastest to do is use the hammer on his head like this, and then use your sword or hammer again. What I just did is despawn his fireball. You can do that by destroying his mask while he has the fireball in his mouth, like that, and then he just despawns it. It was a good fight. Didn't get hit either, which makes the cutscenes a bit shorter. Now it's just more text. Excuse me. I'll be doing the thing that's called hammer dashing, which is a nice kind of item dash on the bridge that is coming up a bit later. Doesn't save that much time, but it's still a minor thing. Next up is Thieves Town. Normally you would go to the Swamp Palace, but we're not doing that because it's slower. Sometimes you can get hit by those snapdragons or whatever they're called. Ropas, that's what they're called. And they will do heavy damage. It's basically like a lottery. Sometimes you get hit and sometimes you don't. We're also going to get the flute. This is when you do that to travel faster. I don't want to mash the Y button here, since there's a small chance that I will actually use it between the mashing. I didn't get the quick warp here, but that's good enough. The flute is always on the same spot, so it's not hard to get. There's a guy that's coming up. We call him Usain Bolt. He's a red guard. He's super fast, which is why we call him Usain Bolt, obviously. You can avoid him by just going faster than him. He's probably the quickest guard in the game. And he will hit you if you mess up. Now I got the bird, which is, it lets me travel faster around the game. I won't be using it until later though. Now I'm going to go into the dark world again. Switch to the hammer and then the hammer dash here. You press A and Y at the same frame. It lets you dash with the hammer out. It saves some time. It's pretty cool. Wow. Alright, and then gonna enter the dungeon. There's really not much going on here, other than the hellway that we call it. It's a room with a conveyor belt, as well as a lot of enemies and spikes. You can dash through it all if you get the perfect pixel, as well as good RNG. But it's pretty difficult to do. But once you get the hang of it, you usually get the pixel every time. But it doesn't guarantee you that you will get the fast room though, since it's still luck. Also, key dashing, I didn't explain, is every 4th pixel, I think, from the door. You can unlock the door while dashing into it, otherwise it would just bonk. And I got the quick thing. Good. Key dash is also that if you nudge against like a lamp or a torch or something, you will get lined up. Here you bomb the wall, or the floor I mean. So the lightning, or the light goes down to the boss room, in which you need, so you can release the beast, basically. Since you're rescuing a maiden down in the jail, or the prison. And she's not actually a maiden, it's just a boss that's disguising as her. I'm one bomb low, never mind, I'm not anymore, so that's very good. I was about to mention that I need to pick up extra bomb, but now I don't have to, because I got a good drop. And there's a specific drop order that I don't know in the head, unfortunately, but there's basically a 50-50 chance that you get something. And then basically the items drop in a specific order. You can find it on the internet, but I'm not exactly sure where, unfortunately. That dash there is pretty difficult to pull off. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna explain this boss fight right now, I'm gonna do it after I fight him. Pretty difficult. Uh-oh. That's not good. Alright, okay, I didn't die. So basically this boss fight is not RNG, it's scripted. Basically you want to do it in a specific way, like your movement and your slashes. Then blind will also do the same things every single time, so you can easily practice this, but it's pretty difficult to get down. I messed up where I spinned accidentally. I actually wanted to poke blind again, but I accidentally spin, which messed me up a bit. Luckily I didn't die, but it's so easy to die on this boss if you mess up, since the head is going around and throwing shooting these red balls. Alright, now I'm gonna bomb this wall here to get 300 rupees, since I need money for the clippers. This is the first of 2 chests I will pick up. There's another one in this town as well. But now I'm gonna get the frog, which is the blacksmith. You rescue him, and then you lead him to the blacksmith's house. Then they will temper your sword, which is an upgrade. You mirror outside this door, and then later I will mirror inside it, just to make sure that I'm as close as possible to the transition. This costs 10 rupees. So it's a pretty cheap investment, since you're getting a very good sword. This is the highest levels my sword will go in this run. You can get the golden sword, but it's not required. However, if you want to beat Ganon faster, you would use the golden sword and the silver arrows, but the time it takes to get it is not worth it, since you will save time with the tempered sword. Okay, I got it. That's not very difficult, but a cool trick where you can dash against the fence there. It's pretty specific when it works, but it saves time if you get it. Given if you don't spend enough, so much time setting it up at least. I beat the spear guy, which is good. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. On some bush tiles, there's a chance that a skull pot will spawn. This room is pretty annoying, since those move in a weird way. You can manipulate it, but it's pretty difficult to do. You can use the boomerang to stun them. It makes it a bit easier, but optimally you would not do that. And now it's another bomb jump. This one is the easiest. It's basically the same as the one in Tower of Hera, but if you fall down, it doesn't really cost you much time, since you spawn at the door again. We should use here for advantage, since you spawn faster. And you get iframes here, so you can walk through that ropa. Now you basically just dash out here, and then you want to pause at a specific place, and then use your fire rod in the corner. That's some pretty good RNG that I just got. Here I'm doing some more item dashes. That's the fastest way you can do it. If you slash the mummies, or the Gibdos, into the spikes, they die in 2 hits, which is the advantage. This guy is a dick, basically. Alright. So, I don't know if it's a decision in the gameplay or if it is a bug, but if you hit Muffula into the spikes, the solid spikes, like the ones, and also the ones that are moving, it doesn't take any damage. It doesn't do anything when you slash. So you have to make sure you're slashing into air, like, so the boss doesn't actually hit the wall. If you slash against the blocks, the 4 blocks, then it does damage. That's why I did the dash in the beginning, so I dash into the block, and hopefully Muffula would also go with you. Then you can get a double hit, and you can also poke dash to save, to actually do damage, but it's a pretty tricky fight. You can also use your fire rod, but you only have so much magic, so... Now I'm calling the bird, and I'm gonna go to number 4, which is Link's house. And I'm gonna make my way to Sora's domain and get the flippers. Is that a quick warp? It could be. Nope. Alright, I was 1 pixel off. Also, you want to avoid dashing into the grass, but I did not do that, unfortunately. You can also throw the pot here before you even get transitioned all the way, which is funny. That rope bar that jumped against me just now, if you're unlucky you will get hit, which is another case of the lottery thing. Here you can bonk into the wall like I just did, and you will line up for a quick warp, which is a good thing, since it saves time. Here's just basically dashing around, trying to not fall down to the water, since you cannot swing yet. That's what you want to try avoid, but it's so easy to fall down here, since the hitboxes or the actual corners don't really make any sense sometimes. And dashing on water is actually slower than dashing on grass, which is what you want to avoid doing, but sometimes you can't really help it in cases like this. Also, you did something called the Jesus dash. It really is a cool thing. But it looks like you're dashing on water. You want to avoid getting hit here. It's pretty difficult. Sometimes with depending on what RNG you get. And you enter this portal from the left. And you get a quick warp. I should have used the fire rod there, since then I will be able to get down before the door opened. But that will do. Also in this dungeon there's another bomb jump that skips a lot of it. Probably saves about 2 minutes. It's not difficult to do. It's hard to learn, but once you learn it, it's not that hard. And since there's no time limit on it, that makes it easier as well. I'm gonna get an extra bombing for safety measures. This is another kind of hellway. Okay, I messed that up. You can line yourself up perfectly for dash, but I didn't do that. Alright, I got it. This isn't the frame perfect. I mean pixel perfect, but there's a few pixels it works on, which makes it a bit easier as well. But it's also the most most worth doing, since it saves the most amount of time. Okay, if you slash that ball in a good way, you will not get hit. Okay, I should have dashed there, but I hit the lag frame, so I didn't dash, and then I just figured I would not do it. This makes you able to skip a big chunk of the dungeon, or at least the puzzles, since you get here instantly. But that makes it that if you die at this boss now, you lose a lot of time, which is what I want to avoid. Alright, good. There's another way you can do this with poke dashes, but it's a lot more difficult. You can also use slash like that, and it's still fast. So now I'm gonna do Swamp Palace, which is the second dungeon in the correct order. But it's gonna make the dungeon very easy, since all the enemies die in basically one hit, because you're meant to have the Master Sword there instead of a Tempered Sword. It also is the hardest boss fight in the game, since there's a quick kill, that is extremely difficult to do. You're basically relying on luck as well as a lot of execution skills. And I'm gonna try to do it, but it's not certain that I get it. Also, walking against an edge like that and then pressing A, you skip the animation and you save time. Basically a quick hop. Then I enter from the left again to wait at the quick warp. You swim faster by mashing B and Y. I think you can press A as well, but I don't do that. You have to drain, like get the water out. Basically draining it, but I usually deleted that block by using the mirror while pushing it. It only works in caves like this, that isn't a dungeon. Since you normally, if you use the mirror, you get teleported back to the entrance. But in this case, you just delete the block for some reason. That was pretty good. You want to kill them in one dash. Oh, okay. That didn't work very well. I was trying to get the bomb and the key, but I missed the key. This is just a bunch of item grabbings. Hey, where am I going? There we go. I got another brain fart, which is good, I guess. I forgot which room I was in. Since there's another room that is very similar, in which you go back instead of going continuing here. Swamp Palace is probably the easiest dungeon in the game, at least in Dark World, since they don't do much damage to you. and you kill them in one hit, but it also is the dungeon that is the easiest to lose time in, since there's so much RNG going on. Makes you lose time. Here I'm gonna pull a switch that is basically draining the water out again. Which you need to be swim over some blocks. Also making sure that I do some wall pumps and air pumps here, since there's a lot of walking around otherwise, so you can use it to your advantage. I missed the chest turn, because if you pick up a chest and you press an input at the same time, you can't like turn around. If I haven't gotten it, I would save a frame. And this game runs at 60 frames per second, so it's basically 1 of a 60th frame, or a second, I mean. So 1 frame doesn't really save that much, but over an entire run, you can save some time. I slashed my sword just in case I would get hit otherwise. Now I have the glitch state again, which makes it easier to pick up that pot. Here it could look like a dead end, but you basically just dash into this waterfall here. It's a hidden room. I keep missing these arrows. Here you can dash straight if you just press the diagonally. It's pretty cool. Now it's the boss fight that's coming up. It's really difficult to do it the fastest way, but I'm gonna try to pull it off. I didn't get it. Oh, damn it. Alright. So basically, you're activating the glitch state again by holding your sword out. And then basically, when you use your hookshot, it instantly kills the puffs. And if you pull it off, you will kill it before he starts the spin thing, which wastes his time. But it's pretty difficult to do, since it requires very many perfect inputs. Since you're basically doing ag and dashing while holding a button already. And then you have to quick kill him again with the fire rod. You shoot fire twice and then you spin and it kills him. That one is not that hard, but it's pretty difficult. You don't really waste time trying for it, but it's really difficult to actually pull off. Now is some fun item farming. I'm gonna get the ether and the ice rod. Ether medallion, that is, by going to Death Mountain up here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna use the hook shot here. This is basically the same as spin speed. You do the item dash with the hook shot. And then you hold your sword out as well. Up the stairs, you will walk very quickly up the stairs. Oh, just it. Alright, I got one quick warp at least. That's good. Optimally, you want 2 of them. And now I'm gonna go to number 8, which is Ice Rod Cave. I'm picking up Ice Rod before my Surmire because it doesn't really matter if you pick it up before or after. But I used to do that before. That's the chest turn. It saves 1 frame if you do it there. Unfortunately, I moved to the left as well, which is the frame lost basically. It didn't save anything. Here it just turns the swamp. I mean the desert into a swamp basically. I'll use the medallion here. It will freeze the bird. And something really important is to throw that bird into the water. It's a ritual for good luck. Shoutouts to Walrus Prime. I think that is his name at least. I can't remember. It's a little fun thing that we do. It loses time, but it is just a fun thing. Here's just a bunch of things that you do. Luckily I didn't get the fire snake in the way there, so I can just dash. Don't have to wait for this one. There's not really much going on here either. You want to avoid those bomb slugs, since they do a lot of damage. Here, if you pull the block while it's like pushing this animation, it basically disappears. Like the hitbox, it disappears, so you can fire shot through it, which saves time. It's basically moving a wall, so it takes a bit of time. This dungeon is rather difficult, since you can easily die from the boss. But luckily there's a quick kill way for Vitreous. You basically have to walk into the acid or whatever it is to get invisibility frames, in which you can walk inside the eyeballs and then use your spin, so you can easily get multiple spins once on the eyeballs, so they die quickly. Optimally, you would kill Vitreous before he uses any electricity or lightnings, but it can be difficult to pull off. And since I don't have... normally you would have the blue armor right now, but that takes a lot of time to get, since you have to do the puzzles in Ice Palace. and therefore the enemies do a lot of damage in here. Here I'm trying to hit the switch for the crystal switch with this block by putting it out and then doing an item dash, and I got it. It's a neat thing to do. The reason I used the other bomb there is to make the game automatically switch to the fire rod, which uses the switch there. It's like a convenient thing. It doesn't really save time if you do it optimally, but on average you would save time. Normally you wouldn't have 2 bombs, but I had one. I would have 1 there instead of 2, but I just used the extra bomb. Created some more lag, unfortunately, but... It's 8 arrows in this guy as well. I shot one extra, but I still have 15, which is good. You basically go into this acid where the eyeballs are, and you take 1 heart of damage instead of 3 or 4, I think it is, from the eyeballs, in which you can just spin them. Then you get many kills at once. Now, normally, okay, not normally, but if you would get the golden sword and the silver arrows, you would do it after this dungeon, before Turok. But I guess in the normal playthrough, it really depends on what you do, but sometimes you get it before Ganon, and sometimes you get it as soon as you can. In our case, though, we're gonna skip it, since it's not needed to beat the game. The same with the red armor in the last dungeon. I'm also skipping that, since it's not needed. Just safety measures. As well as I'm not getting any bottles, any fairies. No, I'm going the wrong way. It's good. God damn it. These squirrels are annoying. Alright. Luckily there's a fairy refill before the dungeon. But hopefully I should be getting a fairy inside a dungeon anyway. This rock over here with the squirrels. Because if you dash from above, you will get the fairy instantly, instead of having chasing around. You activate super speed and you use right, up, left. Oh my god. There we go. Hello? Okay, that wasn't very optimal. It's so hard to maneuver Link with super speed. But messing up that menu caught me off guard, so... And this is Turok, which is the... I think it's not the hardest dungeon, but it's up in the top 5 at least. Ganon's Tower is definitely the hardest one to get good at, since there's so much going on. Here you want to use the fire rod, so you can light multiple torches at once. And you also want to use the hookshot here to fall down, so you can easily get back in time for this door. Optimally you would get... you would hit the first torch like I missed, but I got the second try instead. Okay, I'm going safe here. Optimally you would take hit from that roller thing, but it's also a risk doing that, since you can get hit multiple times, but normally you would get invisibility frame, so you can dash through the second one. That's where the fairy that I might get here. Yeah, that fairy is what you want to get after you do that trick. Since otherwise you'll be low in health for this room. Since those chain chomps do a lot of damage to you. So now I have 5 hearts. It should be enough for the dungeon itself, but if I didn't get the fairy there and I got other tricks before that, I would be dead now. So it's pretty risky stuff. Since those chain charms are also luck based where they go. You can also you could like avoid them, but sometimes it's really difficult to do. I'm gonna do another item dash with the block to save time, basically. Hopefully I'm gonna get good RNG in the next room, since it's basically 2 of those guys. Okay, that's not too terrible. I got another fairy, which is good. Now I'm safe, for sure. Okay, there we go. I forgot that was what I was doing there. Yeah, you can't be too far to the right like I was, since then the sword beam will get hit by the block. This maze is pretty tricky, for casual playthroughs at least, since you will have no idea where you're going. But in speedruns it's pretty straightforward. It's the same pattern every time. Oh, I don't have the sword beam, I forgot. Here, you want to get rid of that beetle. Now you dash through that before the laser actually gets shot. It's also not a difficult thing to do. That's a pretty cool trick. It saves time. It's the fastest way you can do that room. I'm skipping the heart in the other pot, because I don't want sword beam for this fight. Because I think it's pretty annoying. You want to switch to the fire out before you kill him, since if you kill him and then you try to open the menu, it's not gonna happen while the boss is exploding. And you're behind the boss, try next to be as short distance as possible away from it, which makes the fight go faster. And you also get a double spin there to kill him faster. That was a good fight. Could have been a bit faster, but it's definitely good. It's also pretty